Hey! The soundtrack is for me, though. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we're back with another reaction to The Flash. We are now on to episode 6, which is called The One with the 90s. So I have no idea what that title might be referring to, other than the fact that most of the cast members of The Flash were born in the 90s. So in the last couple of episodes, it's been quite interesting in that we've been introduced to different villains or anti-heroes, we haven't decided fully yet, who are representing these new parts of the Force that were birthed from Iris rebooting the Speed Force. We met Fuerza, who's exhibiting huge extreme strength. And then we met Psyche in the last episode, who has the ability to control minds. So all that's really left is the Stop Force, or the opposite of the Speed Force, which we haven't seen yet, although we did see a character that exhibited like the ability to at least slow time. Remember, we did get some version of Turtle or something like that a few seasons back. But again, that person had no reference to any of these forces, so I don't know if they're going to bring that character back or someone brand new, but it seems like we're getting this introduction to all these forces as the episodes go on. We'll have to see how it goes as the season continues, but we're not going to know until we get into the episode. And before we do, you know the drill. If you have been here before and you like what you see, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you'll be notified when I do more reactions to The Flash and other such geeky, fun, comic-y shows. We have a lot of fun here, so hopefully you will join the fam. Okay, with that out of the way, guys, let's get into that episode right about now. Okay, a Spartan in the street? Sure.
When I was reborn, I was surrounded by light and love. Then came the pain. I could feel these forces of nature relating.
She said that Iris gave her light and love. Did y'all hear that?
Like you and Miley.
The actual all-encompassing, immeasurably interstellar, and mind-bendingly cosmorific.
Yes, Chester Purunk. I am the Speed Force.
We could build them as we go.
So let's do this, baby.
Cause Team Chesco's on the case.
Chesco? I'm about it. Hashtag Chesco.
Ready to birth.
It's so true. What is that? Get in the van. What is that? Don't let it touch you. Too late.
Oh, where's the van?
I was just here.
What?
Oh.
Secret cloaking.
How do you deal with all this? It's never easy dealing with a threat.
She's like, basically, I'm in a state of stress and complete heightened fear all the time.
Don't worry.
Tell me you're seeing what I'm seeing.
Does it have anything to do with Space Jam being back in stock?
At that blockbuster video.
No! Oh my god, they are talking about the literal 90s. I feel attacked.
Tonight we're gonna party like it's 1998.
Do we have to? He's so excited. Oh my god, Chester, you're so cute. 98 wasn't a terrible year. I'm just being extra.
If we added a transmitter diode to the sensor,
It could localize the isotopic circuits enough to detect a new force within a 20-yard
Stop finishing each other's sentences. BFF tings.
Masonville's principle suffers zero fools, feel me?
then we just sneak in. Simple.
Y'all look 40. What do you mean? This is what he said. You're an OG. We're going to Mexico. No, not the...
Yeah. Future Falcon forecast section.
What are they wearing?
What's the question again?
I wasn't wearing any of this stuff in 1998.
You see yourself in
Not a one. This is a great montage. This is amazing. Don't drop it though. It hurts the ears.
Who are you?
Oh, we're students. Just like you.
Yeah, you guys talk like my dad.
Right? And what's sad is that they could be his dad. Ew.
It's me, Chester.
Why is Chester immune?
No, I don't know you. Stranger danger.
Sorry.
Chesco.
How far back do we go?
You're 7, you predator.
I'm saying.
1998.
Cisco would be the 7-year-old to know the word predator. I can't.
His mother made it for him. He doesn't really talk about her much, so.
It's probably best, because when you go down the mom route, he does something usually rash that completely changes the space-time continuum, so.
Stays with him.
Makes me so sad, because Iris should have been able to have these moments with her mother-in-law, you know?
I can't.
The X-76 power converter? They just sold the last one to that guy.
His dad. I bet you think that's his dad. Or his grandpa.
Okay. You never had time for me.
Not cute.
It was always, sorry, son. I don't believe in quit.
How about not quitting your son? How about that?
Oh, my dad dies.
Oh.
Car accident on his way to some big meeting in Coast City. Today's the last day I seen him alive.
Well, that is incredibly sad, Chester. You want to get stuck in the 90s because you want to go back to your grandma's house and get what you need over this? Sorry, everyone's traumatized in this show. Let's go.
I'll change my appearance. Appear in my true form to all of you from now on as Lightning, because I can't keep hurting him like this.
What do you look like in your true form? It might be more traumatizing than this face. Let's just stick with the devil we know.
I may be his lightning rod, but you are his lightning. Thank you.
Iris the poet, always saying the right thing at the right time. Mother-in-law approving both Speed Force, and I'm sure the real one would have too.
What makes you think I have one, Mr.
Wrong.
Boyega. John Boyega. You at the tech shop said that you the last one.
John Boyega was maybe 3? Come on.
It's my way of teaching him to be resourceful and a problem solver.
It's kind of brilliant.
I know.
Is it?
Plus, he gets the joy of learning to see treasure where other people see trash.
You know what would really help is you actually express that to your child, though, because kids aren't mind readers.
You haven't seen Space Jam 4 times, man. Oh man, it's so good. Now it's time to kick you wannabe Urkels to the curb.
Why?
Because whoever you two are,
Thought so.
you don't belong here.
So you want to live your glory days.
My time.
Yo, Dion. Why bum around 1998? Man, I thought you left the small town life for college and the NFL. That wasn't me.
Why are you yelling? We right here, bro.
Oh, not good.
Oh snap! I just wasted some time. My bad.
Well, we tried. And when are you guys going to learn that these things are immune to like most of the stuff you do? Yes, Joe! Look at fire!
Could somebody please tell me what this
No, not that hair! No. Oh, why'd you do Danielle like that? Yes! Yes! Natural hair in the building! Thank you! Flash, about time! Yes, I agree! So is he actually going all the way back to prehistoric times? Is that what's going on? Okay, but my guy, you haven't even tried.
Ever since I was a kid, I thought that my pops cared more about his job than me. Who, man?
Excuse me, we're listening to your boohoo story and literally living it. You can hear mine.
Today,
So I get to figure out what he looks like.
Yeah, that's how the future works, sweetheart.
So I get to decide what happens from now on.
Oh my God, has no one explained to this dummy that that is the way that time works?
Well, Barry, looks like your vitals have stabilized. How you feeling?
I feel
Great. I had a whole episode off. I feel refreshed.
He could stop you in your tracks anytime, anywhere. That's his power. It's like he's the opposite of the speed force. He's the still force.
There we go. Couldn't remember the name of it. Thanks, Chesco.
Whereas the strength force, that would make Psych the sage force.
Iris, thanks to you, I'm seeing things a lot clearer now.
That is the effect of Iris. Thank you.
Well, I
Thank you.
imagine you two are anxious to get home, so I'll see you in the morning. Wait, Nora, we have clean sheets in our guest room and plenty of blankets.
Barry's like, actually, I was planning on getting busy tonight. I've been rejuvenated. I don't know what my mama hearing.
Sure.
He doesn't seem thrilled. And I don't know if it's because of my cheeky reason or if he's just weirded out by her.
Auditing CCPD, her name's Kristen Kramer. I just found out that she's here to catch a dangerous fugitive metahuman. She's here for Killer Frost.
Right? Like, you just blinking like you ain't in that category, girl.
That's not who I am anymore.
I know.
That's nice, but that's not the way the law works.
And no one is going to take that away from me. So if this Kristen Kramer wants to come after me, then I say, bring it on.
Yeah, and here she's not that person anymore, huh? Interesting. Looks a lot like she is. Like I said, if she has to go to jail, so be it, girl. So be it. Okay, guys, so that was the latest episode of The Flash, which was really good. I'm really enjoying the writing so far this season. It is definitely a massive improvement over what we've had, especially last year. And I think I've mentioned a few times that I think these new writers are doing a really good job of just improving the general storytelling and the character development. I mean, this episode to me was clearly probably a mixture of two things. One, obviously with the new filming guidelines that are out there now, we can't have too many people on set, but also I love that they're doing things now to allow Grant as the lead actor to have a day or two off, because I remember watching an interview with Stephen Amell a couple years back talking about how exhausting it was for him on Arrow in the early years, because they needed, or claimed that they needed him on set every single time they were filming, and he would end up just working crazy hours and being just completely run down by the end of a season, and it was just too much. And so later on, you know, he said he had to actively work and like very... what's the word? Like, he had to really forcefully negotiate into his new contract that he did not have to be in every single episode or on set all the time, and that they could make it so he could actually get a time to like rest mentally and physically from this really stressful work. So it looks like they're doing the same thing for Grant now, and allowing him to have these episodes where, since you have such a large cast, one of the benefits should be that Grant can get a day off or two in between and not have to necessarily be in every single filming. And I think that's good for Grant, and obviously for everyone else in the cast to kind of have a rotation of not necessarily needing to be there. But again, also falling in line with this panorama guidelines that we got to do with right now. But back to the episode. I really like this throwback. I think that this was definitely one for the 90s kids. For those of us who were around in the 90s, who remember some of the things going on in the 90s, this was a cute throwback. The Blockbuster, like, what? You gotta be at least 25 to remember what Blockbusters were about. It's kind of crazy to believe that we've been without video rental stores for a solid decade or more now. They used to be they were a huge part of my childhood, but digressing. I think it was great to see Chesco and Chester working together. I think I've commented several times that those two actors have got great chemistry. I mean, that's the great thing about, why does his name just slip right out of my head? Carlos, there we go. He is a really, he's a fantastic actor, first and foremost, but he really has had amazing chemistry with, everybody he's ever worked with. He's just so good at being able to just find that click with whoever he's working with. But I really like the dynamic between him and Chester. The fact that they, like I said, are finishing each other's geeky sentences, and that Chesco has someone he can just exist with and bounce those intellectual ideas off of, but do it as an equal. Because whenever it was Wells always kind of came from a place of being either condescending or just so much more senior and wise than Chesco, whereas with Chester, you know, they're kind of on this even playing field, which I really like. So yeah, it was nice to see them work together in this episode to figure out what was going on. And I like the way that they brought in this still force villain, in the sense of he wasn't trying to do crime per se. He wasn't trying to do things that were necessarily evil. That his motivation for once was just a purely personal, egotistical one, which is very relatable, right? Because the other two, like Flair's, that we still don't know what her deal is, but you know, we have Psyche, who was just bent on mayhem and our, you know, world domination. But then you've just got this guy who very realistically is like, there's this point in my life that I thought was the defining point in my life. It didn't go the way I wanted, and I've been stuck emotionally and mentally in that space since, and now I have this power, and I realized that I could just keep rewinding this day where everything changed and, you know, living this quote-unquote glory days. But it really wasn't, right? Because first of all, he did not look like a high school student. Let's put it out there. I mean, I know in most American TV shows, teenagers are played by like 30-year-olds, but you get my point. He's still aging, but he's still stuck in this time loop where everyone believes he's still in high school. But the fact that he's just, his power, that the way he was using it was really emanating from a place of pity, self-pity, and loathing and anger and fear about what, you know, his future became or what he thought it was going to be, was so realistic. And it was just a nice, refreshing change from the, you know, mustache twirling, thou must, you know, dominate the world type of villain. And really, in the sense of, I don't even think he recognized or realized what his powers were doing outside of like his little bubble of Masonville. Like, I don't think he understood that he was creating tiny little temporal hotspots all over the place that had completely different eras going on, right? So I think that was kind of nice that he was just a very self-centered, very like tunnel vision type of villain that really wasn't trying to hurt anyone per se. He was just trying to change what he again believed was the turning point of his life for the worse. And I love that the writers did a great job of like having Chester doing his side quest with his dad, which was great because first of all, we got to learn a little bit more about Chester because we haven't learned much about him since he was introduced to the show, outside of the fact that he's a genius who takes recycled goods to do his thing. So getting a little bit of a, you know, peek into his history, that he was raised by his grandmother, that looks like his mom was not around, from what we've seen anyway, and that his dad, he perceived, was just an absentee dad who loved his work more than his boy. But this detour of him finding out that his dad's perception of what he was doing was to teach Chester life lessons as well as support him, really helped him to kind of reframe what was clearly a lot of resentment that he held towards his dad. And, you know, as a side note, I kept saying it in the episode, but this is something a lot of parents unfortunately fall into the trap of, which is that, you know, they really do. I mean, I don't think there's any argument that Chester's dad loved him so much, but kids, I don't know how many times and ways people can say it, but the thing that kids want and need more than anything from their parents is love and attention and the sense that they're being seen. Like, that's all every kid really wants from their parents. And obviously they need clothes on their back and roofs over their head and all that stuff, but they're not the most, like, giving them the best of all those things are not going to replace, nor are they more important than you just literally spending time with your kid and making them a priority and letting them know face to face and in person and with your interactions and with your time and attention that they're important to you, because that's what kids will carry with them later in life, right? Like, and it's proved, right? You'll see kids who grew up stupid rich and still are miserable and unhappy and just terrible people because their parents were never around. They were too busy off making all the money to build these giant castles that they live in. But the castles don't mean anything if there's no love and affection in them. So anyway, it's sad that, you know, Chester's dad didn't figure that out and sadly was, you know, taken from his son far too young for him to be able to express it. But it was nice that Chester got to spend that quality time with his dad that he always wanted as a kid, but also finally understands now from an adult perspective where his dad was coming from, and that as children do, we as kids, we don't have the wherewithal to think all-encompassingly enough to realize that there are different factors involved. So, you know, sadly, Chester used to blame himself and blame his dad, but now he sees that there was more to that puzzle, and it's given him some peace. And so that whole side quest, while it gave us some great introspection into Chester as a character and his past, it fed very nicely into the way that they defeated the Stillforce character, in that, much like with, what's his name, Abracadabra, since the powers are not really working at the moment, them actually reasoning with him. Little life lesson and messages in this episode as well about, you know, life. I mean, if anything, that's probably a metaphor for 2020, right? A lot of people had plans last year and what they thought was going to go down, and maybe things went in a very different direction. But instead of thinking about what was lost or what didn't happen, there is a whole flurry of new opportunities that are arriving as a result of that. So that's what you should be focusing on instead of, you know, what we can't change. So either way, good episode. It was also nice to see Iris and Nora / the Speed Force bonding a little bit. It was nice to see that moment between the two ladies, and again hear how Iris kind of was beautifully putting things in perspective for the Speed Force around how Barry works outside of the Speed Force things. And I love that she mentioned, she's like, you know, the way you talk, Iris, you're very calming and you put things in a great perspective. It's like, yes, this is why she is invaluable to Barry and to the show in general. This is, you know, Iris's thing. As she said, I'm the lightning rod girl, but you're the one, you know, Nora was Barry's lightning. That was the original spark that has pushed him in dark times as well. So that was a really cute moment. But as we saw at the end, big question mark around why Barry's reacting the way that he is to this bonding. Like, one would think he would be happy to see Iris and the Speed Force getting along, since those were kind of the two penultimate women in his life, so to speak. But he did not look happy about the fact that Iris was inviting her to live with them. So that's pretty much it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching along with me. Please leave a like on this video if you did like it, and leave your comments below about your predictions around where Barry's coming from with this issue with the Speed Force. And if you want to see more from this geeky face, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you can join the fam and join all the fun. All right. Thanks so much for watching, guys. And until next time, see ya.